Hi there. Hi, Denise here. In one of my last videos, I promised I was going to do something about the New England Institute of Religious Research. This is my ongoing series for Freedom is Sacred. We have a rapidly accelerated deterioration of civil rights and civil liberties going on in the United States and globally. But we've got to fight from where we are, and I'm in Texas, in the good old US of A. And before I get into the New England Institute of Religious Research, I want to update something here. That group works closely with a lot of other anti-cult groups. And the anti-cult movement has become, at least this New England arm of it, has become a reestablishment of absolute total slavery. I started to really notice this in the last month or so as I've been watching the process, that all of their demands across the board to all these different groups, the Jesus Christians, the Trumpeter Online, the 12 tribes up in Lost Pond, Vermont, and out near Plymouth, and a large variety of other groups, all hinge on the idea that nobody, no matter how old you are, no matter how self-sufficient you are, no matter what your family situation has been, nobody has the right to go and choose a different religion from that of their parents. Or any religion at all if their parents are agnostic or atheist. But you can't deny that that's what's going on. These people believe they have the right to kidnap adults who have chosen to join any kind of small religion. They don't limit it to so-called cults, although that word is thrown very loosely at just about everybody. They talk about any small sect, new religious movement. If you yourself, right now, publish a pamphlet on whatever you wake up this morning and you think religion ought to be saying, and you give it a name, I tell you, within 48 hours, you're going to find your pamphlet printed in here and demands printed in here that anyone seen reading it be grabbed and sat down and deprogrammed. I mean, they don't use the word deprogramming anymore because a few of them did go to jail for that. It involved kidnapping. But to get back to the point here, Anita Walker is a white woman in Melbourne, Australia. That's all we know about her. She does not put her face out the way I do. She's a coward. She usually hides behind the nickname Black Hat. She's demanding that the Jesus Christian group, which isn't even really a group anymore, it has been a group, excuse me, she's demanding that a young black African American man named Joe Johnson present himself to her satisfaction. Why? Because this man, who's in his mid-20s, made the choice when he came of age to walk away from his family in California and join the Christian witness group called the Jesus Christians, which is a mixed race group. And it took me a while to see what's really going on here. People like Anita Walker completely ignore the humanity of black people to the point where she doesn't even demand straight to Joe Johnson and say, hey, Joe Johnson, if you're out there, please, show yourself. Reassure me that you're okay. She doesn't present her demands to the Johnson family. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I demand that you satisfy me that everything's okay with your son. As if the Johnson family doesn't have the right to their own private lives, their own careers. They're intelligent middle-class people. The Johnsons include school teachers, I think one of them's real estate, ministers, pastor. These are middle-class people. And this, as far as I know, unemployed trailer trash white woman in Melbourne, Australia. I mean, I'm saying that loosely because I don't know what she is. But she is part of a group that demands that this African American family has to present to her white satisfaction that everything's okay between them and their son. Not even the government does that. And she doesn't present that demand to them. She presents it to Dave McKay, a white man, who happens to be the founder of the little witnessing group that Joe Johnson joined. Why on earth should she think that Dave McKay has anything to say about where or what Joe Johnson is or does? If you believe something has happened to somebody, you go to the authorities. She can't do that because the authorities will laugh at her. I'm sure they know exactly where Joe Johnson is and that he's perfectly fine because the whole family has to hide from the terrorism group the Rick Ross Institute is doing in rickross.com with Black Hat and these others, demanding that African Americans satisfy them. It isn't only African Americans. They're running this slavery across the color line, but I'm pulling it out where it's obvious. Rick Ross's major viciousness comes out only on some groups. He attacks hundreds of groups, but most of them he doesn't attack this viciously. And I've been looking at the different groups he attacks viciously. And I've been noticing the racial profile. Any group which is Christian community, and especially which has interracial relationships. And the Jesus Christians, once you really got to know them, I never met them in person, but just getting to know them through interactions, friendships, private communications. There's a lot of private communications that go on that are none of Rick Ross's business. They're none of Anita Walker's business. These are all adult Americans, Australians, British people, Canadians. There's a whole bunch of people from different countries. There's a few from India, Kenya, Africa, and they all have Germany. They all have the right. I mean, these are all adults, some middle-aged by now. All walks of life, too. Nobody talks about their jobs because can you imagine having your employment interfered with by people like Rick Ross and Anita Walker? Can you imagine that? So of course you're going to present yourself online as, oh, it's just me and my Christian witness.